and help you understand how Nexthink can further support and improve the way you deliver IT to your end users, your employees. And the way in which we do that is by giving you full visibility of the user experience. Nexthink captures close to 800 different user impacting events that happen in their interaction with IT. Things like when an application crashes, when the device freezes, when network response time is slow, when a logon takes too long in the morning. All events that can impact the user's ability to be productive and do their day-to-day role. One of the first questions I would ask you is, do you have full visibility of the user experience? The likes of Forrester and Gartner will differ slightly on this statistic that you see here, but this is replicated across so many of the customers that we work with in terms of, if you're looking at data purely from within the service desk, within ServiceNow, you're probably only seeing half the picture. And I've certainly been in front of customers that we've worked with at Nexthink who've said, actually, I think we're lucky if we see half of the issues that our end users are experiencing. It's vital to understand that full picture of the user experience, because I will guarantee in your organization, you've got some users who are suffering in silence, some who are rebooting their own PC because they think that's the first thing IT's going to tell them anyway. They may be bothering a colleague, they may be undertaking Google searches in order to try and fix issues themselves. If they're not logged into the service desk, you don't have visibility of those. But Nexthink gives you that visibility. This is a set of statistics from a Nexthink customer. So a particular issue, which was around problems with Outlook, there were 4 incidents logged in the service desk. But what Nexthink gave that organization visibility of was the fact that there were 72 users who had experienced over 100 crashes of Outlook in the previous week. It was related to a specific version of Outlook, which was installed on over 3,000 devices. So what you're seeing within the service desk is very much the tip of the iceberg. And what Nexthink gives you is that full visibility of the user experience. And how do we do that? So we do that through a number of dashboards, metrics, and they start with the digital experience score, which we'll see in the product in a moment. This is an overall score of the health of the user experience of IT across your organization, and can then be broken down in lots of different ways, as we'll see when we get into the product. How does that benefit you as an organization, as IT, providing technology to your users? It enables you to build this kind of continual service improvement roadmap. So we see a digital experience score of 7.1 at the bottom of the screen, and I'll stress this is a real world roadmap from a global pharmaceutical company, a customer of Nexthink. 7.1 digital experience score at the start of the year. They want to drive up to a score of over 9, and Nexthink is giving them visibility to be able to understand the improvements they need to make in the user experience in order to improve their users' productivity, reduce the amount of downtime, and give their users a better experience of IT. Rod, would you be able to show us in the product how Nexthink customers are able to achieve that?
Absolutely, Rich. So let's go back and have a look at this in real life demonstration time. So previously, I showed you one of the user interfaces into Nexthink, which is our Finder, our technical view, purely for the technicians to go and analyze and drill into those issues in granular detail. Now what we're doing is we're now looking at our portal view. So this is very much the management type dashboards that people are using to understand what delivery is actually going on. And having worked in areas of IT, doing sort of service level management, where literally SLAs, OLAs, and underpinning contracts were king, this is something completely different. And the reason it's completely different is because very typically those SLAs, OLAs, and underpinning contracts are all about the service that IT is providing out to the business. What we're looking at here is we're collecting information from the end user devices, and we're working out exactly how those services are being consumed. And so if that old model is the inside out view, how services are being pushed out to the business, this is literally the outside in view, showing exactly how those services are being used by the users at the coalface. And why is this so important to organizations? Quite simply, because those end users are actually driving those business processes that are generating revenue for your organizations. And literally, it's great that IT provides an SLA that shows everything's green, but if you've got unhappy users, are actually you doing the best for the business that you should be doing? This is what this dashboard is actually designed to show. It's called our digital experience score. And as I've intimated, what we're doing is we have a very lightweight agent we put on those end user devices, and we're drip feeding information back into our Nexthink engine, which is really the smart part of Nexthink, which is then looking at data, correlating it, doing the number crunching on it, and feeding the dashboards and the finder that we're looking at now. So literally, if we look at that score in the top left-hand corner, that's 7.52, that's our score out of 10, is our score of goodness, if you like, on an individual basis about exactly how everything's being consumed by those end users that's being provided by IT. And the great bit about this is it absolutely doesn't matter if they're being provided by IT, or if they've been outsourced, or if you have a complete SIAM model that's driving this. What we're doing we're looking at it from the end user perspective, as opposed to that traditional model of services from IT going to the business. And we can see down here that we're scoring 7.52 out of 10. If we look just to the right of that, we can see a trend line, and this was the last chart that Rich showed. And what we're looking to do here is identify areas of poor performance potentially. And once we've identified those, we can build in place a roadmap to help drive scores up. So if it's if you want to look into improve net promoter score, if you're looking to improve productivity, there's kind of three areas that Nexthink helps in: quality of service, compliance, and also transformation. And so, but anyway, you can see the trend line here, and we can see that over a period of time, we're pushing this score up, and again, improving that level of service we're providing out to those end users. Over here on the right side of the screen, we can see the device view. And actually, we can see that there's circa 600 devices which are scoring between 8 and 10 out of 10. So they're having a really good time. What I might be more interested in, though, is why are there 5 devices which are only scoring between 0 and 2? Why are they having such a poor time? I want to understand that, because that's obviously going to be dragging our overall score down. We can look down here in the geographical location down here, and it doesn't matter, whereabouts. If you're a complete global organization, we can literally take it down to the individual office type basis, office, site, country, location, whatever it might be, and we can build a hierarchy where we can understand exactly where those issues are actually occurring. And over here on the left-hand side, we actually break the digital experience score down into sort of sectors of IT, or subsets of IT, if that's what you want to call them. So business applications, if you're using, supply chain processes based on SAP, we can understand exactly how they're performing. Device scores, how are the devices, how the end users actually, performing with their devices. We do the overall employee experience as well. So the great thing that Nexthink is doing, it's collecting hard metrics from those end user devices, up to 800 different individual detailed metrics it's collecting from the end user device. But what it's also doing, it's asking the user as well through little surveys, little pop-ups to say, how satisfied are you with the service? And let's say I've just been using SAP. I literally, Nexthink knows that user's just been using SAP, and I can actually ping them a survey to say, how was your experience with using SAP the last time you logged on? The analogy I like to use is a Formula One analogy. So the guys in the pits know every single piece of telemetry that's going on around those racing cars as they go around the circuit. You know, what's hot, what's cold, what's performing, you know, literally very detailed telemetry. But they still get on the radio and ask the driver, how's the car performing? How's it going for you? And this is very much the same type of thing that actually Nexthink is doing. But this time for your end users, and it's helping drive productivity, and it's helping to drive efficiency inside your organization. We have productivity and collaboration. We're going to have a look at this in a second, because this one appears to be different. And actually, this is things like your Outlook, your Teams, your Skype for Business. Security is pretty self-explanatory, and web browsing. And so, as I said, this is very much the outside-in view, showing how those services are being consumed. And really, organizations use this in three distinct ways. So first of all, they're using operationally. It could be about the fact you could be having some sort of major issue. It could be lots of people are suffering from blue screens. Why is that? I want to understand why that is. I was speaking at an event last week with the UK's NHS, and I had a lady come up to me that said, we've recently deployed Jira across our business, and nobody's using it. And so again, we can use it tactically. We can use Nexthink tactically to work out, you know, why aren't people using Jira? It might be the fact that, you know, they don't know how to use it. They don't know how to log on. It could be a training issue. But we can use Nexthink to actually work out, is it poor response times? Is it the fact they don't know how to use it? You know, that might be a tactical way to use Nexthink. And finding it strategically. Just supposing your organization wants to migrate to the cloud. So what you can do with Nexthink is you can benchmark exactly where you are now, work out exactly what the performance level is of how those services are being consumed. You can then start to do your cloud migration, maybe to a subset of users. And again, you can poll them all the time to work out, you know, are things better? Are things worse? But you make sure you get it right first with a small subset of users before you then roll it out across your community. So Nexthink can help operationally, it can help tactically, and of course it can help strategically, surfacing critical information and allowing making that actionable for organizations to do various bits and pieces. Let's drill down though into this productivity and collaboration piece. And so, you know, I can go into a different dashboard in here to actually understand that. And as soon as we drill down into that, we can then see the digital experience score has dropped because we've obviously zoomed into an area of poor performance, if that's what you want to describe it as. And we can see that very typically, this is running around about 8, but on this individual day, it's dropped down here to about 6. And so why has that happened? So let's scroll down the page and see what else Nexthink is allowing us to see. Again, we can see how the individual devices are performing, but also we can see down here, we have this happiness score too. So all the time, I say we're collecting those hard metrics, and you know, the hard objective metrics, and we're collecting that soft subjective end user sentiment. We can see down here that, you know, users aren't very happy today. So obviously that, you know, there's things happening that are going wrong. We can then see the various applications we're looking at, and it looks like OneDrive and Outlook are the two that are potentially causing the issue. If we scroll down a little bit further, we can then see actually that OneDrive actually is improving. Actually, it's not looking too bad at all. If we then scroll down a little bit further, here we come, Outlook. So we're all chugging along quite nicely, and all of a sudden, there it is. It looks like it's dropped off the edge of a cliff. We can see over here it's happening in Europe. What I can then do, I can click onto here and start to interrogate this. So actually, it looks like in Europe, it's coming from Switzerland and Italy. Let's drill down into Switzerland. Okay, understand, okay, look, a number of locations are being impacted in Switzerland. And finally, okay, this location, Locarno, seems to be worst of all. Let's just click onto that to zoom into that individual location. And we can see that, you know, it's having a really bad time. Now, typically what would happen without Nexthink is somebody would phone up the service desk and say, I've got a problem with Outlook today. But what we can see using Nexthink is actually, it's not Outlook at all. If we look over here on the right-hand side of the page, we can see that actually it's network response time that's causing the issue with Outlook, not Outlook at all. And again, so this is what I found through this portal. I now have the option, if I want to go and investigate that in the Finder. If I'm an analyst, if I'm a technician, and so I can go and drill into that, the technical view of Nexthink to go and do sort of more root cause analysis and understand exactly where the issue is coming from. And so start from that high digital experience score, drill down to one area, productivity and collaboration. Work out what application is causing the issue. Work out what, which country or which region it's being impacted. Then investigate exactly why that's happening, and so shorten the resolution time for that individual incident. Okay.